Breaking news out of the Middle East at this hour. Israel says it has launched a preemptive strike on Iran. The country's defense ministry saying in a statement, in part, the state of Israel has launched a preemptive strike against Iran to remove threats against the state of Israel. As a result, a missile attack against the state of Israel and its civilian population is expected in the immediate time frame. Therefore, the defense minister has now signed a special order declaring an immediate special state of emergency on the home front throughout the entire territory of the state of Israel. The public there has been instructed to follow the directives of the home front command and the authorities and to remain in protected spaces. Let's go live now to Tel Aviv, Israel, and to our chief foreign correspondent, Richard Engel. Richard, good morning. There is a special state of emergency in the country now. Tell us exactly what is happening as you understand it.
Good morning. So a short while ago, we heard air raid sirens here in Tel Aviv. It happened about 8:30 in the morning, local time. Immediately, people started to clear off of the streets. We're not far from the coast right here, so I saw even people coming in from boats, coming in from swim. They were immediately heading toward their homes, heading toward bomb shelters. Very few people out on the streets right now. That siren came just as Israel announced that it had launched these preemptive strikes against Iran. Iranian media say that there have been at least 3 strikes right in central Tehran. There have been some images emerging already from Tehran showing plumes of smoke rising from what looked like government compounds, people on the street looking up, taking stock of the situation. And then as soon as we heard that air raid sirens, we got this announcement from Israel's home front command telling people not to go to school, that schools have been canceled, not to go to work, to stay close to their homes, only essential work being allowed. Witnesses in Tehran say that this is potentially an ongoing attack. They have described a second wave that is already underway, and Israeli media say that it is leadership targets in Iran, that it is government officials, military officials, specific individuals that are being attacked in what are being described as relatively precision strikes. And because of that, Israel issued this warning after Israel took the first move for people to brace themselves for an Iranian missile and drone response. So far, we have not seen that. We haven't seen the Israeli air defense systems go into action. And we only heard a brief air raid siren. It was an alert around 8 o'clock in the morning, so it's about 20 minutes ago right now, but it has not been followed up. We're not hearing the consistent wave of, or the consistent wail of air raid sirens. It could come because Israel explicitly said that it expects that Iran will respond with missile and drone attacks against Israel.
Richard Engel in Tel Aviv, stand by for me because we want to bring in NBC's chief international correspondent, Keir Simmons. He's joining me now from Dubai. Keir, good morning to you. What is the sense that you have about this preemptive strike? Did Iran have any indication that this was coming from Israel, especially on the heels of all these negotiations with the U.S. and the Trump administration over the last couple of weeks?
Well, Iran had a good idea that something was coming simply because of the extraordinary military build-up in this region, in the Gulf region where I am, 2 U.S. aircraft carriers close to Iran, one in the Arabian Sea, the other in the Eastern Mediterranean. That second one, the USS Ford, just reached that part of the Mediterranean in the past, I would say, maybe even 12 hours, 24 hours. So the timing is interesting for the USS Ford to arrive in the Eastern Mediterranean. People who know their geography will know that's just off the coast of Israel. And then for these strikes to begin, there had been reporting that Israel might launch strikes first. Of course, we don't know the granular detail of what's gone on behind the scenes, and historically speaking, it can be that Israel takes action without coordination with the US. However, I suspect there will have been some kind of coordination, not least because there will be enormous anxiousness in Israel, but also in countries across this region, allies and partners of the United States, about what comes next, what kind of retaliation now countries and US bases across this region might face, and also what President Trump calls that armada in the seas of this region, what kind of retaliation Iran might launch. I mean, we're in the early stages at this point, and as Richard pointed out, what we're hearing now are people telling stories of explosions across Iran, or certainly in the capital, Tehran, and trying to identify where those explosions might be taking place, whether or not, for example, they are taking place in the offices of the Revolutionary Guard Corps, whether or not they're taking place in areas where there is Iranian leadership, whether or not instead they are targeting Iran's ballistic missile capabilities, its launchers, or its oil infrastructure. I mean, all of those kinds of questions will become clearer in the hours ahead. But this is clearly going to be, or I suspect this is going to be, the beginning of a assault that will include the United States. As Richard was saying, these negotiations, the negotiations have been continuing right up to just Thursday, where there were talks in Geneva mediated by the foreign minister of Oman. But those talks did not come to a deal, and I think what's happened here is that ultimately Israel has decided that a deal was not going to happen, despite the Omanis saying that there would be more talks next week. The Omani foreign minister even flew to Washington in the past 24 hours to meet with members of the Trump administration, Vice President Vance, for example, to make the case that there should be more negotiation, that Iran was making offers that he said were likely to be unprecedented, that Iran was making offers and that there was worth continuing to talk. Clearly, Israel has decided that there is too much risk. There's another factor here, too, that I think is worth pointing out, which just goes to the level of tension that there's been and some of the factors that may have played into the decision in Israel to begin these strikes, and that is this, that at the beginning of this year, Iran changed its posture to say that it could launch preemptive strikes. In the past, Iran has had a position that it would respond to strikes like these, but it shifted to say that it could preemptively launch an attack, and we may discover that Israel believed that Iran was preparing to do something like that. We don't know. As ever, we always say, don't we, when we first get this news, that this is the fog of war. We're going to have to, wait and see the details of what plays out. But I suspect there's more to come.
We thank you for watching, and remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or watch live on our YouTube channel.